My name is Hannah Wilson, and right now, I'm staring at my business account. The balance, zero. Every dollar I've worked so hard to earn is gone. Jessica, my sister-in-law and trusted accountant, claims she borrowed the money. Her words, family helps family, echo in my mind as I refresh the banking app again, praying this is some kind of glitch. Let me rewind. 3 years ago, I launched Wilson Creative, a boutique marketing agency born from years of 80-hour work weeks and relentless ambition. It wasn't easy, but with sleepless nights and unwavering determination, I grew the agency into a thriving business with a team of 15. Then, 8 months ago, Jessica showed up at my door, her face streaked with mascara and desperation. She'd lost her accounting job and was drowning in bills. "I just need a fresh start," she pleaded over dinner, her voice breaking. "Hannah, you know how hard I worked to get my CPA license. Please just give me a chance." Mark, my husband, squeezed my hand. His eyes said it all. "She's family. Help her." I hesitated. My gut screamed caution, but as I watched her sob into her pasta, listing her mounting debts and rent troubles, my heart overruled my instincts. "Okay," I relented. "You can start Monday as our accountant, but Jessica, this is more than a job to me. It's my dream. Please don't let me down." She hugged me tightly, almost too tightly. "You won't regret this, I promise. Family takes care of family, right?" At first, she was perfect. Jessica streamlined our accounts, organized payroll, and uncovered tax deductions I hadn't known existed. Clients praised our professionalism. Employees were relieved to have the finances running smoothly. For the first time, I felt I could focus on growing the agency instead of drowning in admin. But cracks started to show. Jessica began arriving late, citing traffic or vague appointments. She flaunted a new designer bag one week and a luxury car the next, dismissing it all as great deals. The books balanced, so I looked the other way. Until this morning. The call came from Dave, one of our largest clients. "Hannah, there's a problem with our payment. Your invoice says we're overdue, but we sent it weeks ago." Confused, I promised to investigate. That's when I logged into our business account and my world collapsed. Zero balance. 3 years of hard work, every client payment, every employee paycheck, gone. Panicked, I called Jessica. She picked up immediately, her tone almost cheerful. "Oh, that? Don't worry, I just moved some funds around. Family helps family, remember? I needed to borrow it for a bit." My breath caught. "Borrow?" "Jessica, that's $350,000. That's not your money." "Relax, Hannah," she said with an exasperated sigh. "I'll pay it back eventually. Mark always said what's his is mine too. And since he's your husband." I hung up, my hands shaking with rage. When I tried calling back, my number was blocked. At the office, her desk was cleared out. On social media, she was posting from an airport lounge. Off on a new adventure. Sometimes you just have to leap. Hashtagless #new beginnings. Now I sit here in an office I built from nothing, trying to process the devastation. How do I tell my employees their paychecks might not come? How do I tell Mark's sister just sabotage everything we've worked for? My phone buzzes with a text from my mother-in-law. Jessica told me everything. "How could you drive her to this? Family should support each other, not hoard money like you do." I close my eyes, anger and heartbreak threatening to overwhelm me. This isn't just about money. It's about betrayal, trust, and fighting for what's right. I've built this business from the ground up, and I'm not about to let Jessica's selfishness destroy it. She may have emptied my accounts, but I'm not going down without a fight. My hands shook as I stepped into the police station that afternoon, every step feeling like an act of betrayal against Mark. But what choice did I have? As I sat across from Detective Roberts, laying out bank statements and transaction records, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. More angry messages from my in-laws. "Mrs. Wilson," Detective Roberts said, scanning the documents, "these transfers weren't random. Multiple small amounts moved through various accounts over months before the final withdrawal. This wasn't impulsive. It was methodical." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. Just then, my phone lit up. Mark was calling. I'd avoided him all day, but I couldn't keep dodging forever. "I need to take this," I said quietly, stepping into the hallway. "Hannah, what the hell is going on?" Mark's voice cracked with tension. "Mom's calling me nonstop, saying you're out to ruin Jessica. and Jess sent me this text about borrowing money. She didn't borrow it, Mark. I interrupted, my voice cold but steady. She drained our business accounts. All of them. She stole $350,000 and disappeared. There was silence on the other end. When Mark finally spoke, his voice sounded strange, almost detached. There's got to be some mistake. Jess couldn't. Check her Instagram, Mark, I said, exhaustion lacing my tone. She's in Dubai. Another long pause, then maybe she's just regrouping. You know, she's been struggling since her divorce. We should talk to her, work this out as a family. Work it out? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Mark, I have 15 employees waiting for paychecks. Clients who've already paid for campaigns we can't deliver. This isn't a misunderstanding or some family issue. It's theft. You're at the police station, aren't you? His voice turned cold, almost accusing. She's my sister, Hannah. My family. And I'm your wife, I snapped, tears stinging my eyes. This is our life she's destroying. That evening, I sat alone in my office, surrounded by the remnants of everything I'd worked for. My employees had gone home, blissfully unaware that tomorrow might be our last day. My phone sat on my desk, the screen lighting up with missed calls and voicemails, each more accusatory than the last. Then my computer pinged, a new email. My stomach twisted as I opened it. Subject: a friendly reminder. Dear Hannah, by now, you've probably noticed the changes to the accounts. Don't panic. I've been planning this for months. Mark and I grew up sharing everything, but then you showed up with your rules and professional boundaries. So I made it my business to learn all about your company, your clients, your vulnerabilities. The money is just the beginning. Check your client contracts, specifically the ones I revised last month. You'll find some interesting changes to the payment terms. Oh, and those tax deductions I found. Let's just say the IRS might have some questions. Go to the police if you want, but remember, I have all your company's financial records. One wrong move, and I'll make sure the world knows about those creative accounting practices you use when starting out. Family helps family, right? XOXO, Jessica. I stared at the screen, my hands ice cold. Jessica hadn't just stolen money, she had laid traps everywhere, creating a web of sabotage that could ruin me even if I recovered the funds. My phone buzzed again. A text from Mark. Coming home late. Need time to think. Mom and Dad want a family meeting tomorrow to discuss this mess he created. A mess I've created. My jaw tightened. I opened my laptop, determined to document everything. Every transaction, every contract change, every manipulative message. If my family wouldn't stand by me, I'd have to protect myself. Just then, the office door creaked open. I glanced up to see Sarah, my assistant, standing in the doorway. Hannah, I stayed late to finish some filing, and I found something weird in last week's backups. You need to see this. Look at this, Sarah said, pointing to her screen. A hidden folder of backed up emails filled the monitor. Jessica created shadow accounts for every client, siphoning payments for months. But she made one critical mistake. She used the company's server for everything, thinking she'd erased it all. My heart pounded as we dug deeper. The emails revealed transactions to offshore accounts, exchanges with dubious consultants, and even a step-by-step plan to sabotage my company's reputation after her departure. But the most shocking discovery was a string of messages between Jessica and my mother-in-law, Helen, dated months earlier. Mom, it's all set up. Once I drain the accounts, we'll use Hannah's client list to launch our own agency. When the business fails, Mark will have no choice but to leave her. You were right, she's never been good enough for him. I felt a wave of nausea. This wasn't just Jessica acting alone. Helen had been in on it from the start. The next morning, I walked into the family meeting at my in-laws' house with a folder of evidence in hand and my lawyer on speed dial. Mark sat at the table, his face lined with exhaustion. Helen, ever the matriarch, sat at the head of the table, exuding false concern, while my father-in-law, Thomas, scrolled on his phone. Well, Hannah, Helen began, her voice oozing fake sympathy. I hope you're here to apologize to Jessica. This vendetta of yours. I slammed the folder onto the table, cutting her off. Before you lecture me, you might want to read your own emails, Helen, the ones where you helped Jessica plan to ruin my business. The room fell silent. Helen's face went pale as Mark grabbed the folder, his hands trembling as he flipped through the pages. Mom, "What is this?" he asked, his voice unsteady. Helen stammered, "It's nothing, Mark. Just misunderstood conversations." Misunderstood. I pulled out my phone and pressed play on a voicemail from Jessica. "Listen to this." Jessica's voice filled the room, cold and calculated, as she detailed their plan to take over my client list and destroy my reputation. With every word, Mark's expression grew darker. "I've already filed charges against Jessica," I said calmly. "The police are especially interested in these emails, Helen. They show conspiracy and premeditation." "You wouldn't dare," Helen hissed, her mask slipping. "We're family." I stood, my voice steady. "Family? Family doesn't steal someone's life's work. Family doesn't manipulate their own son to destroy his wife. Family stands together, not tears each other down." Thomas finally looked up from his phone, his face grim. "Helen, what have you done?" Everything unraveled after that. Thomas, a respected judge, was appalled by his wife and daughter's actions. He immediately froze the accounts Helen shared with Jessica, ensuring they couldn't access more funds. 2 weeks later, Jessica was arrested trying to enter Canada with luxury items, a forged passport, and a new identity. Thankfully, a significant portion of my company's money was still recoverable from accounts she hadn't fully drained. Helen faced her own reckoning. The scandal forced her to resign from her cherished charity boards, and Thomas filed for divorce, unable to forgive her betrayal. As for my business, we not only survived but thrived. Clients rallied around us when they learned the truth, and Sarah's discovery of the backups prevented Jessica's tampering from causing lasting damage. Mark and I had a long road ahead. The betrayal shook him deeply, and he moved out temporarily to process the fallout. But unlike his mother, he chose to stand with me, facing the truth over blind loyalty. Counseling helped us begin to rebuild the trust that Helen and Jessica had tried to shatter. 6 months later, I sat in my newly expanded office, watching my growing team work with purpose. The betrayal had taught me harsh lessons about trust, but it also revealed who truly had my back. My phone buzzed. A text from Mark. "Just finished moving back in. Dinner tonight to celebrate your best quarter yet." I smiled, typing back, "Yes, and Mark, thank you for choosing us." Sometimes family isn't defined by blood or marriage. It's about the people who stand beside you when others try to tear you down. Jessica and Helen thought they could destroy me with their betrayal, but all they did was show me the true meaning of family.